Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and how you doing? Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a terrible and long and not very... No, it's neither. This has been just a journey. I don't know how else to call it. This is a funhouse museum of murder. And if you've been following along, we have just been exposed to murder number 5. Poor Yvette. Let's try to get a sitch rep. A situational report, or a sitch, or a something. Okay, Yvette's dead. That's number 5. There was Ernie before her. There was not Carrington before that, who I'm figuring is Mr. Watney Little, who was mentioned in this police report over here. There was Ziggy, who had, it seemed, very little to do with anything except for the fact that he was involved with all of the forgeries. And there was Mr. Pip Carter, who was first killed with a knife and then later stuffed into a suit of armor. Now, if we have a little look over here, these are 2 items that we found on Yvette's body.
Bifocal reading glasses.
Not really, the suit. Whoops. Not really, I can't remember which character actually wore bifocals, but
there appears to be a fingerprint on one of the lenses, although you have no way to identify it.
So you can see these are definitely going to be super important for the coroner later.
It looks suspiciously like red hair.
And now if we were to try to figure things out using that, think about maybe the murderer has red hair because of this sort of thing, then it kind of points all arrows towards Mr. O'Reilly. If we consider, at the end of the last act, you remember how Wolf did mention how Mr. O'Reilly smelled of alcohol, and coincidentally, Ernie had just been murdered and he smelled like he had been drowned in an alcohol vat? I mean, how specific can you be? You smell like you've been drowned in an alcohol vat. Anyway, so all things considered, okay? Riley is probably the most physically capable guy, perhaps, in this museum. We can't really say much regarding that. Sorry, I'm not doing much with the screen. O'Reilly, okay, yeah, he's in shape. I can't think of any reason why he would want to do anything like this, all of these murders. I don't know if he's responsible for quite all of them, but yeah, it doesn't look good for him. And since she has red hair, that either leaves Mr. Steve Dorian, who's just been missing sort of suspiciously, or it's Mr. O'Reilly, who's been in the public image and trying to remain in charge the entire time. Let's have you think about that. Meanwhile, I don't know how I feel about using a meanwhile this late in the game. Don't let me forget. I gotta look at this thing over
Countess, why are you tied up on my desk?
here. Dr. Olympia, maybe you should be smarter than this.
Your face has certainly changed to an attractive pale color, my dear. You seem a little under the weather. Are you okay? Oh dear, you don't look well at all. O'Reilly! You want Mr. O'Reilly? Okay, just wait right here and I'll go get him.
That's awful though, isn't it? Yeah, jeez. She was tied up, put onto a desk, and then and then he let a snake out of the cage. Did you see it was missing?
Hello, Miss Bo. Do you know where Mr. O'Reilly is?
Well, no, not exactly. I assume he's still in the museum.
Well, I'll find him. If you see him first, would you tell him that the Countess is dying on the desk in my office?
The Countess is dying? What's wrong with her?
Well, she's looking rather pale. Her eyes are glazed, and she's not breathing much. I'd guessed she'd been bitten by a snake.
By a snake?
Must you keep repeating everything I say? In any case, I've got to go now.
Thanks. Man, What the hell is up with everybody in this friggin' place? I mean, everybody's dying, and she's kind of calm? So, yep, there's a snake. That, I believe, is, Barney? I gotta be careful what I do right now, and I've got to be careful what I do for perhaps the rest of this episode, which may or may not be the finale. I can't save, and this is the deadliest snake in the room right now, and that's all I need. Luckily, we have a bottle of snake oil. Somehow, this snake oil is going to help us to maneuver this snake into the corner, where we can wrangle it a little bit more efficiently. I don't know how this is supposed to make sense. I'm not really sure how anything is supposed to make sense in this damn game. But anyway, now we can put it into its cage where it's going to be relatively safe. How about we have a look? See?
The cobra displays one deadly fang. He seems to mean business.
One deadly fang. Where could that other one be? Okay, before I go in any further, I have to remember.
It's half of the
I have to remember. Yes, I have to look at this because this is going to be super important. That's an M, that's an O. Yes. Yes. Okay. Let's look at all of these. Looking. Okay, good. Now I'm going to go. Can I use you?
It's your
Okay, yeah. Can I do this? Okay, I gotta make sure. Okay, good. I have all of these hieroglyphs. It's actually really important. Anyway, let's get this grisly business out. Oh, man. Makes me wonder if she simply just saw something that she shouldn't have.
It's the bound and dead body of the Countess Lavinia Waldorf Carlton.
So she was maybe trying... See, alright, maybe she was a murderer because she perhaps killed her late, very brief, but very charming husband. But she didn't deserve this either, man. She was probably harmless.
You pick it up and place it in your purse.
Sorry, I should have looked at that. Those are grapes.
A nice bunch of grapes.
They're so nice. Look at them.
Several grapes are missing from the bunch.
My. Okay.
Her bloodshot eyes are open and staring into infinity. Her lips have a bluish tint. There are no signs of violence on or around her face or head.
We can take these smelling salts.
You pick it up and place it in your purse.
I wonder what she was doing with smelling salts. It's just a little bit weird, I don't know. But hey, might have been wondering where that fang was. Hey, look.
You detect a trickle of what could prove to be cobra venom. You deem it wise not to touch it when you remember that it's a neurotoxin that causes progressive paralysis leading to respiratory failure. That biology class was useful after all.
Mind you, I don't know if you really need a biology class to figure out that what killed this dame is probably not a good thing to touch, or to put in your mouth, or to lick, because that's still putting it in your mouth. Anyway, I think we've done what we need to. I don't suppose that you remember, I kind of do, that I said a long time ago that I was going to translate this. I never did. I'm sorry. What I did instead was I remembered that I'm going to need to have a walkthrough anyway for the next act. You're going to see why real soon. So I figured I would refer to that same walkthrough and find that translation. Luckily, I'm going to credit this guy. What's his name? The walkthrough is made by a Mr. Michael Pemberton and is easily found on GameFAQs. Under this game, Dagger of Amon-Ra. The translation is, I pay homage to thee, ye lords of eternity. Ra, strong is thy sail in the wind as thou sailest over the lake of fire in the underworld. Behold, Shu, the mother, creating the gods. That's all it says. Isn't that useful? I'm kind of glad I didn't put all that work in. Anyway, okay, so we can't save. I can't seem to save. I don't know if there's a hot button or a hot key in the emulator that I'm using, Scum, but we just gotta We gotta move on. Okay. Oh boy. So this is Act 5. This is Act 5. I don't know what I can say about it. Remember this part though. Rex takes a bite out of crime. Remember it.
So far, so good. Keep it up.
So the situation here. I am being chased by the murderer. See? I just sort of let him into the screen there. Okay. We have to do everything right. One mistake will possibly lead to my being killed. Okay, I just closed this door, and I used the wire we got from around here to close that door. That's only going to slow him down. We gotta run up here. There's a chair here all of a sudden. Gotta move that over, open that up. Okay, this is going to create a sort of distraction. The murderer is going to think I went through there. What I gotta do instead, go in here, and then hide in here. Ooh. He's got a big-ass mace. Look at that.
You hear the sound of someone breaking down a door in the next room.
Okay. So that guy has, whomever it is, he has broken down the door and let me in. I'm gonna go in there now. Okay.
A large...
What? I can't take too much time to think. Okay. I don't know if that's actually going to slow anyone down, but hey. Everything's got to be rapid fire. I'm sorry, I can't stop. Okay, we use an elevator. So weird, this tone. We're being chased by a murderer, but we got, I don't know, kind of comforting music. But now, hey, we can see that the elevator is going back up, so the murderer is still on us! Damn it! Okay.
You pick it up and place it in your purse.
We just took a mummy. He is now in my purse. Close that door. Let's have a look at him.
It's a mummy from the Ptolemaic period, whose name was Pooh.
Okay. How about...
The mummy's wrappings seem to be in fair condition, but exposure to the air is starting to make them crumble.
Great. That's just friggin' perfect. Let's take this mummy, prop him against the door. Good. Okay. Now it kind of looks, if you are a little bit pessimistic, that there's no way out of this room. It turns out what you have to do is something really
the
weird.
snake shifts just a little, and you hear a click.
There's a little snake on the sarcophagus over here, and you have to use the snake catcher on it.
Don't touch.
Come on, go through, go through! There.
You hear ominous chanting as you encounter a strange ceremony.
Do you remember early in the game, there was talk of a cult between the Countess and Mr. Najir?
Oh my goodness!
Yep. Oh, that steak. Won't they just eat it?
Excuse me, I was looking for the women's lounge?
You're coming with us, young lady.
I think you're making a mistake.
You've seen too much. We can't let you go.
Not to worry. I won't remember seeing this room, or you, or anything. Really. I've got a terrible memory. Can't even remember my own name half the time.
I'm sorry you found us. Our cult of Amun-Ra must remain a secret. There is too much at stake here. Too many important people are involved.
Cult of Amun-Ra? In the museum basement?
This room is a forgotten part of the original museum. We are safe here, as long as no outsiders are aware of our existence.
Oh, well, my lips are sealed. If you want to dance and sing and have little meetings down here, that's your business.
You cannot be trusted, Miss Bow. You're a newspaper reporter. We could be a featured article on page 1 of tomorrow's newspaper if we let you go.
Who would believe it?
People are going to miss me. They'll search the museum.
The police will never find this room or your body.
She doesn't look kinda... Anyway.
You don't really plan to kill me, do you?
Of course not.
What a relief.
Kill is such an ugly word. Actually, we're going to sacrifice you to Amon-Ra.
Can we talk about this?
There is nothing to discuss. You should be proud to die in such an honorable fashion. Young Egyptian maidens used to fight for the privilege of being sacrificed to the great Amon-Ra.
Did he sort of pick up an
Now,
accent?
wait a minute. I thought the ancient Egyptians didn't make human sacrifices.
You're familiar with the history of ancient Egypt, Miss Bow?
Well, I've learned a few things.
Perhaps we could test you.
Do I have any other options?
We can test you or sacrifice you. It's your choice.
I'm liking this idea more and more. What kind of a test is it?
Amon-Ra may choose to intervene on your behalf. It is our tradition that we must let you live if you can answer Amon-Ra's riddle.
Great.
Were you gonna ask anyway?
Of course, you'll have to answer the riddle with hieroglyphics.
Yes.
I
Of
was
course.
afraid it would be something like that. Okay. What's the riddle?
Actually, it's a two-part riddle.
Great.
What is the room you leave without entering?
Do you remember in probably like episode 2, there was a riddle that Mr. Najir had actually told to Ziggy, and he told us. We could have been thinking about that this whole time. So now perhaps you see why it was so important that I check out the hieroglyphics in Dr. Miklos's room. Okay, so what's the room you leave without entering? I'm just gonna put the answer in. Where's O? O, yes. And I'm looking for an M. And now B. The womb is the room you leave without entering.
That's correct. Now, the second riddle. What is the room you enter without leaving?
The room you enter without leaving. And a little point that I think I might have touched upon just earlier. I really wonder, though, if Mr. Najir was going to ask us this little riddle if we hadn't indicated an interest in Egyptology. I mean, he seemed pretty intent on killing us. Or me, or Miss Bow. There's a B. And the tomb is the room you enter without leaving.
Very impressive. You are the first person who ever answered that riddle correctly. The wise Amon-Ra apparently wants us to spare your life. Will you swear to keep our location a secret?
Of course.
Then you may leave. May the great Amon-Ra guide your footsteps.
By the way, could you
Thank
stop a
you.
murderer?
Now I just have to outrun the person who's been chasing me.
Who is chasing you? Do you think they'll find their way in here?
I'm not sure who it is, but I believe it's the same person who stole the dagger of Amon-Ra from its display case. And I'm sure they'll find their way in here.
If that is true, they will not leave this room alive. I suggest you leave through our secret escape route behind the altar. Go now, and remember your promise.
Sure. Okay. We gotta stop, we gotta breathe. Alright, the chase is not off. For some reason, all of those people cannot stop the murderer, and anyway, we shouldn't have any kind of faith that he would. Okay, take a cursory look around this room. We are in the furnace. We can see a foot coming out of some coal over there. I'm figuring that's Mr. Steve. How about we do this over here? We gotta get...
Steve, being the large, unconscious type stevedore he is immovable in his current unconscious state. And he's got coal all over his body.
Okay.
There's an unconscious man.
Can I...
Upon...
No? Okay, hey. I can save, though. That's... Oh, jeez. Mid-chase. Okay. So, let's... hang on.
Steve being... Steve...
Okay, there's his face. We gotta use the smelling salts on him. And I have to pause the game in a... Yeah, we gotta give him back his boot. That's good.
Oh, my head. What happened? Laura?
Yes, Steve. I was so worried about you. Are you all right?
I think so. I remember hearing somebody coming up behind me, and as I turned around, somebody slugged me. Cripes, my head hurts.
They must have dumped you down the coal chute. Let me see where you were hit.
Yeah, take your time.
I'm all right. Don't touch it.
Honestly, you men can be such crybabies. Do you think you can walk? We have to get out of here. Somebody's been murdering everybody in this museum, and whoever it is after me.
I can make it. I'm with you. Where do we go?
I got this.
Good question.
I got this. No, leave it to me. Leave it to me. Okay, we gotta do this over here. Good. Okay, the next thing we gotta do is light up this lantern. You remember the lantern? See, it turns on? It's got a little crank on it.
While
Good.
this...
Alright, and then we go inside here. And if I remember right, I'm gonna need my snake oil again. Look at that. Snakes. You let me know when I can, game. Oh, okay, good. Is it working? Oh, okay, wow. Good. That's really good. That's really good. Because it really didn't look like it was gonna work for a bit. Okay. Rats!
You hear the sound of gunfire from the direction of the furnace room.
Ah, shit.
Sounds like someone's chasing us, Laura.
Okay. You remember? We got cheese.
While this...
Cheese. Have some cheese. Now get the
The
fuck
rats devoured the cheese in a split second. It only made them hungrier.
That's absolutely not what I figured was gonna happen. Okay, fine. We got this. Okay, we'll just redo. That's fine.
Oh,
Yes,
I think
they
I'm all
are.
I-
Good question.
Every so...
Okay, here we are again. We're gonna try this rat thing again. I hadn't read far enough ahead. It turns out what we gotta do...
You hear the sound of gunfire from the direction of the furnace room.
sounds like someone's chasing us, Laura.
Okay, what we gotta do is actually use this cheese on this doorway. And like lemmings, they're gonna fall in.
You watch in relief as the last of the rats scurries out of sight. You can barely smell an unpleasant odor, like burning hair.
Yeah, I think that goes down into the furnace. But I think we gotta go in this way here. Still no chance to save my game. Ooh. Okay. You remember a little earlier? Mr. Rex takes a bite out of crime? That's right. Caught you! Yeah, reveal who it is! Do it! Ah, come on. Ah, you tease. Oh, man. Okay. Okay, I can breathe. Ooh, okay.
With a little more effort, you'll be the best investigative reporter Tulane ever graduated.
Okay, so I slacked off on the investigative stuff.
Thank you for coming to this inquest, Miss Bow. As the coroner on this case, I'm going to informally question you and study the evidence you've collected. If you assist me in developing a case, the perpetrators will be tried in the formal court of law. We're primarily concerned with the museum murders, but we're also interested in the theft of the dagger of Amun-Ra and other matters that may have a bearing on this case. My examination of the corpses has been fruitful, but I need more evidence to build a case.
Sure.
Any information you can give us would help, but you must justify your conclusions with the evidence you've acquired. False accusations and unsupported conclusions will not be tolerated.
Who would tolerate that?
Although I don't wish to pressure you, your employer is also here to judge your performance on this investigation.
Great.
Since this is an informal proceeding, I've allowed it on the basis that your newspaper will cooperate with our wishes. Now, to the questions. Who murdered Dr. Pippin Carter?
Okay. We gotta pick a person. I'm figuring we can kind of comfortably peg everything on Mr. Detective Ryan Hanrahan O'Reilly. The only other person who might have been able to do that, or who was really inclined to do that, was Mr. Smith. I'm not figuring that Yvette was into that because, you know, I mean, as much of a lover of men as she was, I don't think she was really the murdering sort. And Mr. Hanrahan, he's just sketch. So how about we choose him? Match a motive. Okay. Shoot. Okay. Maybe to cover up. Yeah, okay. I think covering up might have been it, because I think he was maybe trying to get the dagger of Amun-Ra. Remember, this is the whole point of this thing. Let me think. Okay, sure. I'll go cover another crime.
Lawrence Ziggy Ziegfeld.
Once again, I think I'm gonna have to go. Yes. Yeah, okay. And I'm gonna say that he was gonna cover up another crime too. Yeah. Let's just go with this.
Who murdered Amy Leach?
Yep. It was him. And probably to do this again.
Who murdered Yvette Delacroix?
Okay, I'm gonna go with Ryan, but I don't know if that was to cover up a crime, because remember he said he was quite explicit. I'll paraphrase about saying that if she was found with anyone else, he would kill her, and that's kind of what he did. So we're gonna say jealousy.
Who murdered Countess Lavinia Waldorf Carlton?
I'm gonna have to say, I mean, she did kind of say it to the camera. It was Mr. O'Reilly. I think, okay, we can go back and say to cover up another crime.
Who was the skeleton found in the steamer trunk?
Oh, that was the steamer trunk. That was the real Mr. Archibald Carrington. That's for sure, yes.
Who murdered Dr. Archibald Carrington?
I believe that was Mr. Watney Little, who killed and then later impersonated Mr. Carrington.
Who impersonated Dr. Archibald Carrington?
That would also be Mr. Watney Little.
Who murdered Watney Little?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Should I say Mr. O'Reilly again? I'm not that sure about that one. Okay, sure, we'll just go with O'Reilly. And, I mean, he was kind of the mastermind behind everything else, so I guess... Yeah, he had a bad day. Why did O'Reilly kill Little? Probably just to cover up another crime, huh? I mean, he was covering up one murder by murdering another guy by murdering another guy. Alright, to cover up another crime.
Who actually stole the dagger of Amun-Ra from the ancient Egypt exhibit?
So who's left? I mean, everybody who was implicated in that fencing ring has died. Ziggy's out, the Countess is out, Ernie is out. The guy who kind of was responsible for the murders is Mr. O'Reilly. Why else would he murder everybody?
Who was the woman involved in stealing paintings from the Old Masters Gallery?
That's gonna have to be Mrs. Waldorf Carlton.
Based on what we now know, your assumption is correct, Miss Bow. Good work.
Ooh.
Who was the man involved in stealing paintings from the Old Masters Gallery?
Involved in stealing paintings? I mean, it was I think it was Ziggy who provided the forgeries, but it was Ernie who was fencing them. Okay, how about we just say who was involved in stealing? How about we say it was, where is he? Where's his name? Ziggy.
Based on our own investigation, your conclusion is incorrect, Miss Bow.
What?
2 of the men who were murdered were involved with one of the female victims in a plan to steal the paintings. We have a report on that woman telling us she appeared at an appointment in the medieval armor exhibit sometime after the party. She was unaware that her partner in crime was dead at that point, and she was seen carrying paintings. If she'd been confronted at that time with evidence that her partner was dead, she might well have confessed to her crime. Who is the high priest of the Amun-Ra sun worshippers?
You see, we did it right. We just, I guess, chose the wrong. It must have been Ernie then. Who's in charge of the thingamajig? Yeah, it was that.
That's correct,
okay.
Miss Bow. You're very observant.
Thank you.
Which museum employee runs a fencing operation as a sideline business?
Oh, that's gonna have to be Ernie. Where's Ernie? Ernie Leach.
That assumption is correct. Mr. Leach was moonlighting with his own business as a fence installer. In fact, he put up a very nice fence around my house.
I have one final piece of evidence to present, Mr. Coroner. I have an eyewitness who would only feel safe to come forth if I established my case against Mr. O'Reilly. Now that I've done so, let me introduce Dr. Patah Shep-Tut Smith of the Cairo Museum.
What is this?
Mr. Smith's testimony is safe with us.
Many thanks. I was in the Egyptian ceremonial room underneath the museum when Detective O'Reilly killed 2 of my fellow sun worshippers. I saw with my own eyes how he gunned them down without mercy when they tried to stop him from chasing Miss Bow. However, we only managed to slow him down. His hood fell back briefly, revealing his evil face to us as he slaughtered our people. That son of a camel should not be allowed to run free upon the sands.
Will you testify in court to what you witnessed, Mr. Smith?
Say yes.
Happily, sir.
Oh, good.
My dead fellows expect their revenge. Although Amon-Ra will certainly destroy O'Reilly's car when he journeys through the underworld.
Yeah, we can hope.
I'm not qualified to give my opinion on Mr. O'Reilly's spirit in the next world, Mr. Smith, but I'm sure your testimony will help your dead friends sleep peacefully. Thank you for coming forth.
Yes, you're a good man,
Miss
finally.
Bow, I'm impressed with the quality of your murder investigation, but the identity of the thief who stole the dagger of Amon-Ra is still a problem. While we appreciate your assistance on this case, there are still many questions left unanswered. I believe that the dagger theft and the murders are closely linked, but I have no proof to make a good case regarding the theft. Therefore, the potential suspects cannot be prosecuted.
Oh, come on.
If you could have located the dagger of Amon-Ra and brought it to me,
I did.
that would have been of considerable help. As I see it, there were probably 2 people involved in the theft, but I can't be sure of that.
Don't I have
At
it?
least one of those 2 people must have been on the museum staff, since there were no signs of forced entry.
Wait a minute. I had the dagger. Oh, man.
It's all that lousy reporter's fault.
Oh, well, I mean...
Damned interfering Laura Bow.
Yeah, I guess if he's
Thinks
still
she can
behind
get
bars...
away with squealing on me, does she? Well, she's got another thing coming.
Does she? You're not suggesting a
Do you
sequel.
hear me, Laura Bow? You'll pay for this. If it's the last thing I ever do!
I guess they wanted a sequel? Heck, I kind of wanted a sequel. I kind of want a sequel right now,
Since
but...
his skeleton
Oh.
was so nicely cleaned by the domestic beetles, Dr. Carrington's bones will soon be hanging on display in the Leyendecker Museum. Yvette Delacroix died plastered. Her remarkably lifelike statue now lives on in the Old Masters Gallery of the Leyendecker Museum.
They kept her?
Her memory lives on in the minds of all she touched. Her sculpture is attributed to Ryan O'Reilly, 1926.
Aha.
Pippin Carter's body was transported to Egypt by his cousin and now occupies a place of archaeological honor in the Temple of Amon-Ra in the Valley of the Kings.
Not bad.
As a result of your failure to find the dagger of Amon-Ra,
Oh, come on.
Wolf Heimlich was fired from his job as chief of security for the Leyendecker Museum.
Friggin' garbage, I did find it.
Having died in the course of this story, Watney Little's life of crime came to an abrupt end. As he was not a nice man, nobody missed him.
Oh, poor guy.
Dr. Olympia Miklos
That's
enjoyed
alright.
the fact that so many murders had occurred in her museum, wishing only that she could have been the one to have discovered all the bodies.
Yeah, they should make another adventure with her.
As fond as he was of the Leyendecker, Ernie Leach noted in his will that he wanted his body donated to the museum. His body now resides in numerous small jars of alcohol, which will be placed on display in the new Hall of Internal Biology, adjacent to the Hall of Late Mammals.
Okay, weird.
Since the dagger of Amon-Ra was not recovered,
Screw you!
Dr. Fatashep Tut Smith was forced to commit suicide with a fake dagger of Amon-Ra from the Leyendecker Museum gift
Oh,
shop.
get out!
After losing his head in the museum, Ziggy found himself unable to continue his criminal career. His head has been preserved and is now on display in the life mask exhibit at the Leyendecker Museum.
They kept him too?
Ramses Najir continued his successful career as an accountant and as head of the secret Egyptian cult of Amon-Ra. With his strong high society ties, his accounting business made Ramses a millionaire in 15 years.
Which in 26 is a lot of money.
Having died from a snake bite, the Countess Lavinia Waldorf Carlton did not live long enough to inherit any money from her last husband, Sterling.
Charming.
Sam Augustini was impressed by your success at finding the murderer. However, he remained skeptical about your abilities because you didn't find the dagger of Amon-Ra, which he assigned you to report on.
It's in video that I found it.
Although he appeared pleased at your success in finding the murderer, Crodfolatia Rhubarb was quietly smug about your inability to find the dagger of Amon-Ra.
You're really rubbing it
As
in,
a
huh?
result of your failure to complete the assignment, the editor let Rube finish the story.
Oh.
Henri Lemore, the coroner, continued his successful career studying dead bodies for the next 50 years, finally retiring in 1976 to tour with a rock band, the Ungrateful Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Low-fat continued in the laundry business, eventually opening a chain of low-fat Chinese laundries across the country and becoming a millionaire in the process.
Sounds so easy when you talk about it.
Former Detective Ryan Hanrahan O'Reilly was sentenced to 50 years in a state penitentiary. The judge was a friend of his.
Of course.
Steve Dorian was quite impressed with your murder investigation.
Look at that chin.
Pleased that you solved the murders, even though you couldn't jail the thief who stole the dagger of Amon-Ra. Your father took you out to dinner to celebrate.
Thanks.
After you gave it away, the dagger of Amon-Ra vanished. 20 years later, in 1946, it mysteriously appeared on the doorstep of the Cairo Museum in Egypt. There was human blood on the blade, as if it was some kind of a message.
Wait, after you gave it away? What happened? What did I do wrong? No, man. I'm almost certain that I did everything right. Oh, but I'm not going back. No, I'm done. Listen to this song. Screw you, game. I've been thinking during that entire song. Yes, I'm pretty sure I did everything right and you still screwed it up for me. I wanted to have a perfect friggin' ending. Stupid friggin' game. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on this fantastic journey. I'm really glad I was able to get back through this game as well as we did. Man, that ending though, Jesus criminy. I'm not gonna go back. I'm done. We're watching the credits right now. The game is over. I'm not gonna go back, but I want to. I want to go back and see if I can't change something. The trouble is, though, with a game like this, is that you can't tell what one thing you're missing. You know? I know I had the dagger. I know it. It was in my inventory. We could check everywhere in the video where I check my inventory. You'd find it there. But no, I don't know. Maybe something bugged with the game. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't my fault after all. Oh. I'm really enjoying these point-and-click adventures, though. I don't know about you, folks. There's something about point-and-click adventures and how much there is to keep talking about if it's an interesting enough game, you know? I really appreciate it. And it's got me wanting to find a couple of others. I've already found a couple of other point-and-click adventures I'd really like to continue with as a series, but I think I might take a little bit of a break between this one and that next one. I'm not sure yet what game that's gonna be that I play when I get back into point-and-click, but I think I have a pretty good idea what I'm gonna play next. We're gonna find that out, I guess, the next time that I should be releasing a game on this schedule, on the Game A schedule. Boy, this is running long, isn't it? 45 or something minutes? Over 40 minutes? Jesus. Anyway, as is always the case at the end of a show, I'm going to say thank you for joining us again. And if you liked any part of this series, I would love it if you would consider getting onto my Patreon page and perhaps donating maybe $1 a month. it takes up a lot of time to work on a series like this, and I do it out of pleasure. But if I could maybe think a little less about where I'm going to find money to pay my bills the rest of the time, then I would probably be able to, I don't know, maybe I would be a little bit more at ease when I'm doing these games. Maybe, I don't know, I would just really appreciate a little bit of assistance. I mean, we're all quite used to paying for our entertainment, and I think maybe I deserve maybe $1. $1 a month. That ain't much when you consider how much $1 actually gets you. We should probably clap a little bit for these vocal talents. Oh, it was the same voice actress that did Laura and Yvette, huh? Gosh. Alright, nice. Yes, and she was the narrator too. That's not surprising at all. I don't think any of these voice actors went on to do anything fantastic afterwards, if anything at all. I don't remember any of these names, and I had briefly checked on imdb.com to see who the voice actors were, and I checked a bunch of them. I don't think they did anything since. I wonder if I think these might have been like developers that just came in and just worked on them. You know, just as a favor, I guess. Yeah, these just keep going on, huh? Oh yeah, Rocco, the taxi driver. Rocco, he was the dirty one, wasn't he? Hey, is it Luigi? I'm sorry, I'm reading these kind of slow. Screams and moans were done by Pat Murphy. Oh yeah, that's nice. I forgot about this part. It says the end on the tag. Well, folks, that is the end. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned. I'm gonna have another game ready at some point. I don't know what it is. Maybe I do. Anyway, you're gonna find out when I put it up. Thanks. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. See you soon.